What's up, witches? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Long time no see, because I've been busy. I've been busy with books. So today, since we're nearing the end of May, I wanted to make a quick video, or as quick as I can make it, video and talk about all the books I read through the months of March and April. Because May, I read some insane books that I want to talk about, but before we talk about them, we have to talk about these, okay? So this time I came prepared. When I did my February video, I was very not prepared. And watching it back, I'm like, if I'm going to do book videos, I need to be a little bit more detailed than that. So this time, as I read, I took notes. This is literally the notes from my phone. I printed the notes from my phone. Most of the books... There's a lot more books on this list than what we see here today. And the reason for that is I check out almost all of my books from my library. But I do have a Book of the Month subscription. That is the one little treat I do for myself each month, is that. And then it was my birthday in May. And I had a very bookish birthday. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. So perhaps I have a little bit of a collection now of some fun books. Before we jump into all the books that I read through March and April, I just want to tell you guys how I read all these books so fast, because if you've been following me for a while and following me on different platforms, and especially if you're part of my free Discord group, which you could find all of the things that I do in the description of this video. But anyway, you would know I have a very busy life. I make content. I have an Etsy shop. I do in-person events now. I have a ministry for Christian witches with some of my friends. I have 3 kids who I homeschool, so I'm with them 24/7, and then my husband works 7 days a week, so I kind of rarely get a break from them. My mom's here now so that I could film this video and have a little bit of a break from them. But anyway, I do a lot, but I still manage to read a lot of books. So the ways that I do this, one, I stopped scrolling on my phone completely. I just have no desire to just doom scroll content anymore. And if I do have the desire to do it, I do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel bad now for the little times that I get sucked into my phone for a pocket of time, because I mostly don't do that anymore. So one, I basically completely stopped scrolling my phone. 2, I prioritize my reading. I will get up early. I will get myself up at 5:30 in the morning if I'm in the middle of a good book and I know I want a couple of hours to read it before my kids wake up. I sacrifice my sleep, which might be crazy, but it's time that I can be alone, that I can read, that I can have for myself. I also, now I've really been doing a lot of tandem reading. So, especially with larger books, right now I'm currently reading House of Flame and Shadow. I've read the whole Crescent City series this month. This is why I needed to make this video, because May, I read some fire books that we need to talk about. But with this one, I've been reading it through the physical book. I also have the audiobook. My aunt was so nice and bought me the Crescent City audiobooks. So I've been doing that, and then I checked out the ebook from my library, and Audible has this feature, which I hate supporting Amazon, but this is actually pretty cool. They have this feature that you can have if you have the Kindle version of the book and the audiobook, you can read and listen at the same time, and it highlights the words as you're reading. Oh my gosh, that's been so game changer for me getting through a huge series. When it's a small book, I don't do that, but big books I will tandem read. But yeah, that is really, and then I do like to listen to audiobooks, and I count audiobooks as reading because research shows audiobooks and reading are basically the same. It's the same thing, except you're processing the language and the story and the information different ways. That's why immersive reading, which is when you're listening to the audiobook and reading the book at the same time, is so beneficial for your brain, because you're learning how to process both pieces of information at once, or both modalities of information at once. But anyway, I also will listen to audiobooks. So like now half the time I'll be doing yoga, and like in it, it's like this in my ear. The only thing I don't do that for is like if I'm doing planking, I have to listen to music, because I can't. I need like a timer for when I know it's going to be over. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Now that I've yapped a lot and I've already made this video long, let's get through this long list as fast as we can. So on here are all the books that I read through the months of March and April, and the DNFs. I have a couple of DNFs through March and April. So the first book that I read was The Irish Goodbye, which was about three sisters, Kate, Alice, and Maggie. They went to their childhood home on Long Island, which is definitely why I picked this book up, because I'm a New York girly. So if it takes place in anywhere in New York, it's going to pique my interest. They go back to their childhood home for Thanksgiving, and the whole family is still like grieving the loss of their brother. And it has some heavier topics, because the, like, trigger warning, the brother, he passed away because he committed suicide. So after a boating accident that, killed one of his best friend's brothers, and he felt like he was responsible for it. So this book focuses on what their lives look like now, after like that whole journey of what happened with Topher, and how it like really shaped their existence today. I loved this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I feel like it would have been a 5 out of 5 if it was a little longer and it could have gotten a little bit more detail with how these characters were holding up these heavy topics, because it literally, like, the what happened to Topher is not the only heavy topic that comes up in this book. This one is definitely, like, I would check trigger warnings if you're sensitive to that. But I feel like it took on too many big topics at once for the reader to fully digest it. However, I thought it was a really good story. It was painted in a really, like, it was just written really well, and in a way that I could like relate to and look at the characters and understand what they were going through and they were feeling. So for me, I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked that one. That was good. The next book, this book, I liked it so much I had to buy it. Like, as soon as I got my birthday money, I was like, she's coming home with me. So this is Best Offer Wins by Marissa Krishno. 5 out of 5 book. This book is about Margot, who lives in DC, and her husband are trying to buy a house. And it is not happening for her. They keep raising their offer. They're like over $1 million. She finally finds her dream house, and it's just everything she goes through to make this dream house happen for her. She's a very unlikable narrator. The twists and turns in this book, I was thinking about this book for a really long time. If you know anything about my story and my life, you understand why this book it just hit me in a way. And like, horribly enough, I could not like the drastic things she does, okay? Like, don't take my words wrong, but like some of the things she was doing, I was like, I understand why you think this. Like, I understand that feeling. I understand feeling trapped. Like, it was just unbelievable. 5 out of 5. Blew me out of the water. A lot of people online did not like this book, and I think I really liked it because I kind of have a personal connection to like feeling stuck in where you live, and I feel like this book helped me start to feel less stuck in where I live, because I'm like, I'm not going to make myself get this crazy, like I'm going to start appreciating what I have before I go off the deep end. But it's less than 300 pages, so if you're just looking for something that you can eat up, that's really twisty, turby, crazy, unlikable narrator. I love unlikable narrators. This is a good one to pick up. Then we have Hang the Moon by Alexis Bellaford, which is a sequel to Written in the Stars, which I had read in February. I really liked this one. It was about Darcy's brother, Brendan, and his like childhood or teenagehood crush, and them getting together. It's cheesy little romance novel, like 5 out of 5, because it was just cheesy. It was corny. It was funny. It had a little cutesy astrology references in it. It was just like, you know, it was random. There were scenes in this book that I was like, why is this in a book? And that makes me love it. But like, if there's something in it where I'm just like, what the hell? Like, that is so weird, but like so real. Like, so real. The Taurus in me absolutely loves it. So that one was a 5 out of 5. And it didn't hurt that it was astrology. It really didn't hurt that it was astrology based. So, you know, I liked it. It was really good. The next one that I read was Jenny Cooper Has a Secret. I really expected to love this book. It is about a 92-year-old dementia patient, and like her secret is that she murdered people. And she comes up to the main character, Linda Davison, on like the first like 5 pages, tells her the secret, and then the whole book is just banter, like between the two of them. And like, I guess that's realistic for a, you know, for the situation that it is and the types of characters that they are, but it just was so like, just went circles and circles and circles and circles, and it got, and then the last like 50 pages were just like bam 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 bam, or it wasn't even 50, it was like 30 pages. I'm like, by the end of it, I just felt so unsatisfied. So unfortunately, I gave it a 3 out of 5. I just felt like it was very slow paced. It left me with more questions than it answered, and like the note that I wrote here was like the ending felt kind of out of nowhere. Like, and which is so fun, like reading's so funny because people on Goodreads were, because I track all my reading there. If somebody has a better app that they use and wants to recommend me a better app and an easy, like whatever, like a funner app, or I don't desire to do Fable, because I know Fable is very social media-y, but maybe like, and as I say it, I'm like, maybe we should do Fable, because like if maybe like one day we do a book club. I know my Jesus Witch Church, like, which is my free Discord group, you can find that in the description, they do book clubs and they do like non-fiction book clubs, but I would really like to do a fiction book club. So maybe we do Fable. But why would we do Fable if we could just do it in the Jesus Witch Church? Anyway, let me know what apps to use for my books so that I cannot use Goodreads anymore. Goodreads is okay. It's fine. It's like, it's whatever. But like, I feel like there's got to be something out there that's a little more thrilling, has a little bit more je ne sais quoi, right? So anyway, let me know. The next book that I read was Otherwise Engaged, was about 2 women who have shared histories and their paths cross randomly, and then it's like the fallout of them meeting and how it affects their families and their lives. I don't know if you could tell, I like a little bit of drama-y kind of books like that, like, you know, and I like really women-centered stories and how women deal with their emotions and like learn how to grow through them. So this definitely fits into this category. I gave this book a 3 out of 5. This book was basically, there's no twists. It was just dialogue and emotion, which is great, but it didn't go like deep enough to actually like feel it, you know, like it just did not land for me. It was like good, but it like didn't scratch the reading itch for me. I found it hard to get through towards the end. And it really sucked because I had just came off of a book that was like a 3, and then I came to another book and I'm like, all right, okay. I mean, like it was good, but it wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? So then I decided to change things up. I'm like, I need to get back into romance. I need to eat something up. Okay. So then I went to Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood, which is like, it's a little novella, less than 200 pages. It's a cutesy, very smutty, enemies to lovers, romance, video game, STEM nerdy shit. That is another thing. I love me a nerdy book, okay? Like, I love me a nerdy girl. I love me a girly who's sciencey, mathy, like, plays video games, like, all that good stuff. Like, I'm not a big, like, video game. I'm definitely more of, like, a, you know, like, I'm just a weird kind of nerd, you know? But, like, the other types of nerds do intrigue me. So I liked this book. It was fun. It was just a fun little thing to read. 4 out of 5. I think I finished it in a day. I'm pretty sure I did that one in a day. And it was a good day. So then I read the 3rd book in the astrology romance trilogy-ish thing by Alexis Bellaford called Count Your Lucky Stars. This one was about Margot, and the other character's name is like absolutely blanking out of my mind. I will put it over here at some point. Like it's right there on the tip of my tongue, but I can't find it. Oh, Olivia. I found it. Margot and Olivia. And their whole cutesy love story. It was cute. It was fun. It was witty. It was that little rom-com that I liked from the other two. It just felt a little bit more redundant, and the characters kind of felt like repeats of the first two books. So that was not a 5 out of 5 like the other ones were. That was a 4 out of 5 for me, but it was still really good. And I liked it. And, I liked that trilogy. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who likes romance novels and really likes astrology too. They overlap and they're fun. After I finished that trilogy, my life took a turn for the Massiverse, okay? My friend Mary, Mother Mary, she forced me. No, she didn't force me. She asked me very nicely if I would read ACOTAR with her. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll pick it up from my library if they have it. And they did, and I picked it up. And I told her I was reading it. And then, like, 3 days later, I was like, hey, I finished ACOTAR. It was pretty good, but Farrah really annoyed me. Farrah really annoys me. Okay, and, like, I understand she's 19, so maybe this is I give her a lot of sympathy, and I this is me. I'm a 29-year-old woman, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit harder for me to step into the shoes of a 19-year-old at this point in my life. But I think that's a huge reason why she annoyed me so much. I feel like her decisions were super flaky and riff-raffy, and she's like, so head over heels in love with Tamlin, who like took her away from her fucking family. Like manipulated her into killing this wolf. She feels guilty about it, then manipulates her to fall in love with him to break a curse. Tamlin! I think I don't like. Maybe my problem isn't Farrah. Maybe my problem is Tamlin. Maybe I disliked Tamlin so much it rubbed off on Farrah, because I liked her a lot more in these books when she was away from this dude. Oh my god, like. And he just gets worse and worse and worse, and like he just becomes gross. Like, don't like Tamlin. Okay, I could go on a rant on that for whatever. Rhysand though, my major gripe with Rhysand. Okay, this is spoilers. Please don't like. You gotta fast forward through this if you haven't read these books. My issue with Rhysand. When she was in the dungeon thingy for Amarantha, right? He came to offer her healing, and then he broke her arm more, or like hurt her more, to like kind of force her into taking the bargain, like lure her into taking the bargain with him. And he's like, oh, and this one he's like, I was just saving you from yourself. You were on death's doorstep, and you didn't know if Lucian was gonna come. Can you just like, can these men be honest to her? Maybe my issue isn't Farrah. Maybe my issue is the men who aren't honest to her. Oh my god, I'm having like a revelation here, okay? But anyway, okay, my ratings for them. This one, because of Tamlin and his bitch ass. And honestly, it really just reminded me of Beauty and the Beast, but like just not as good. And I kind of found her and Tamlin to be really cringy. I give this a 3 out of 5, but I knew a lot of people say this is one of Sarah J Maas's like weaker books, so I knew that like I just had to get through this one to get to the other side. Okay, and I'm so glad I did. So this one was a 3 out of 5 for me. This one was a 5 out of 5 for me. Oh, the way that they, like, my issues with Rhysand here, like, I still have my issues with them and my questions about them, but you know what, like, desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm, like, trying to justify it to myself, but the way that they fell in love in this book was so nice. The way that he gave her autonomy, taught her how to read, like, gave her all of these, I mean, he started doing that here, but he really, like, you know, amped it up here, gave her space, you know, let her be her own person. I really liked that. So I gave this one a 5 out of 5. This one was a 4 out of 5 for me. Although, like, I I love her Farrah's badass glow up here. Like, I love that she, like, went in and, like, fucked up the spring court to get back at Tamlin and to, like, get into a better situation. I really love this surreal. Oh my god. I gave this a 4 out of 5, but maybe this is a 5 out of 5. I don't know. I think this one keeps teetering between a 4 out of 5 and a 5 out of 5 for me, so I think I just need to reread this whole entire series to know for certain. I'm so serious about that. So serious. Anyway, not now though. I just read it. I have to give myself like a little bit. Maybe like after the next 2 come out, you know, after they've stewed for a little bit, I'll give it a big reread. This one, this was just cute. It was filler. It kind of bored me. It like bored me to the point where I almost didn't get through it. But like I said, it was cute, like cutesy little feelers. So I give this one a 3 out of 5. Then this one, this book, I still think about this book on the daily. Nesta. Oh my god, Nesta. What did I write in here? I wrote, Nesta, my baby, I will forever love you. If you don't like Nesta, you haven't been Nesta. 5 out of 5, no notes. Stand true to that. This book was like stabbing, pulling, stabbing, pulling, stabbing, pulling, twisting, stabbing. It was so good. It was so good. I wish I could read this for the first time again. Like, I wish I could read this one for the first time again. I still think about this to this day. I still think about scenes in this book to this day. Okay, and I hike a lot, so I go on, like, mountains, and every time I'm on a mountain, I'm thinking of this book now. So, like, yeah. Nesta, in my heart forever. And I continued through the Massverse into the Throne of Glass series. And guys, like, I'm gonna admit, I was not a fan at all, okay? Like, the note I wrote here for Throne of Glass first book was low-key boring and reminded me of the Hunger Games, and I said, but strong world building, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 for that. Then for Crown of Midnight, said lots of twists and turns, lots of world building, again, low-key boring. So that one I also gave a 3 out of 5. And then, unfortunately, Assassin's Blade became a DNF. I got through I literally was, like, done with the book. I was, like, this close to being done. But Selena annoys me so much. So, I am Selena Sardathian. I will be strong. I will survive. And I get that that's literally what people like about her. But she just annoyed me so much. And the world, like, reminded me too much of the Hunger Games. And this is the book that made me realize, like, I'm always like, yeah, the Hunger Games, woo! But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, the Hunger Games. Like, this one made me realize that even though I read through the Hunger Games and I was really into the Hunger Games fandom when I was a kid, I don't think I liked the Hunger Games. I think I liked it. Because I technically, I never even finished the last book. Because, like, spoiler, but, like, if you haven't read this book at this point, like, I don't know. But anyway, when Prim at the end died, I was done. I put the book down. I'm like, you Suzanne Collins, I'm done with these books. And I think that, like, any book that gives me that vibe gives me an ick unless it can do something else that, like, draws me in. And unfortunately, Throne of Glass did not. I am not opposed to redoing Throne of Glass. I think that if my husband and I ever have a 4th baby, I'm going to treat myself and get a box set of Throne of Glass and do that for my postpartum. But if that never happens, I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and get through it, because people are like, you know, once you get to, like, book 4, book 5, that's when the real, like, stuff begins. But I'm like, I really don't want to have to get through all these. And I was right there. I feel like I should just keep going. I don't know. Let me know. Do I need to keep going? Do I really need to keep going? My friend, you know, Courtney, I told her I didn't like it. So she spoiled all the things that I need to know for ACOTAR 6 and 7. So I'm comfortable not reading them. But do I, like, need to read them? Like, everybody said, like, even my husband, he was at work the other day, and one of his, like, old coworkers came in, and she's, like, a big reader, so he asked her if she had ever read the ACOTAR series, because, like, I was, you know, whatever, I've been really liking it, And she's like, yeah, but Throne of Glass is her favorite. She likes Throne of Glass more. And everybody's like that. I'm like, is it just me? Is it just me? But anyway, let me know if I have to bite the bullet and get through it. If you guys really say it's important, I will. The next book that I read was For Whom the Bell Tolls by J.C. Lynn. My friend Charlie recommended this book to me. I really liked it. It was fun. It was nerdy. It was about this girl or woman, Lily, who passes away from cancer and willingly brings herself to hell to work at the front desk. And then there's this huge demon war with, like, you know, another universe trying to invade our universe, and there's battle and demon smut and craziness, and it was nerdy, and there's video games, and there was like the found family trope because they adopted a kid named Sharky from the underworld. It was just like, it was fun. It was a fun thing. I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. I think I give that a 4 out of 5. I liked it. I think that they could have been 50 pages shorter, to be honest, but I think that about a lot of fantasy books. This is actually something my son and my son's a big reader too, and he's reading the Warrior Cat series right now, and he was like complaining to me how like 4 chapters were just the cats walking through a field, and he's like, all it does is like describe. I'm like literally, like, I'm reading in my book, I'm like, there was like a part about a moonstone, and like it was the way that they described it is like, the moonstone is white, it was the whitest white, it shone a pearlescent white, an opalescent white, the whitest white you've ever seen in your life. And I'm like going on, he's like, that's how fantasy, and that's how fantasy books are. So they are, I feel like they add a lot of filler for that world building. And like, as a Taurus, or not even as a Taurus, I think this is my Aries Mercury that's like, okay, just get to the point. Like, I get it, it's green. It's the most brilliant green you ever seen in your life. I get it. We don't need to put 80 words to describe this one green thing, okay? But I think that about a lot of fantasy books. So that was my biggest gripe with it. So I think that maybe it should get a 4 out of 5 if that's my only gripe with the book. But anyway, I would recommend that. It was a fun read, and it supports a TikToker when you read it. So like, I love doing that. I love like supporting content creators who don't jump off of things from the internet. I think it's really cool. So I definitely I picked that book up partially for that reason, partially because my friend Charlie recommended it to me, and Charlie knows like what I'm into for the most part, so I knew that I would like at least enjoy the book that they recommend to me. And I definitely needed something to enjoy after Throne of Glass, because I was just like, ugh, I was so unsatisfied with it. But anyway, I liked that one. I'm excited for the second. The final book that I read in April, I guess technically I finished this in May. I finished it on May 3rd. So May 2nd. May 2nd. I knew the exact day that I finished it because we went to Medieval Times that day. So anyway, I'm going to count it in my April books, especially because this is my April 2026 Book of the Month pick. Look at the edges. Like this book was so gorgeous. It had a reversible cover. Ooh, the bookmark. I keep the bookmarks that it comes within the book, but it has the blue cover too. I like the red cover. But then the art on the inside, it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. But more importantly, the story. The witch princess, her name is Astrid. She needs to fight Prince Zarian in a fight to the death to claim the power for her queendom. But obviously Prince Zarian is going to protect it for his kingdom, right? Fated mates, fighting to the death, dragons, kitty cat that shifts into things, like literally a found family. There's like serious twists in this. Serious twists in this. My biggest gripe with this book is that, my things I wrote that here, my only note is it is very Hunger Games. And the cliffhanger hurt my soul. So, which made it a 5 out of 5. Because if the cliffhanger hurts my soul, like, clearly, I need to keep going. And I think the next book is slated to come out, like, next year, so there's a big wait. And I'm not happy about that, but I really like this book. 5 out of 5. Really quick, let's get through my DNFs for the month. We already talked about one, which is Assassin's Blade. The other one was Kin, which is a historical fiction about 2 black women, Vernice and Angie and how they bond over being motherless during the Jim Crow era. I did not finish after page 100. I just found the pacing to be way too slow for me, and I had a hard time getting into it. I also have realized that I just don't like historical fiction. Anything, like, literally, as we get through this list, you'll see a theme. The next one was The Names, which is 3 destinies of a family based on the name that Cora, the mother, gives to her son. The names were Bear, Julian, or Gordon, and Gordon was after his abusive father. This book gave unnecessary graphic descriptions of domestic violence against a woman. There just didn't seem to be point to a lot of what was going on in it. It was just very, very, very abrasive, and there was not much empowerment towards the end, which, like, I get that in real life that sometimes there's not empowerment at the end, but I did not appreciate that, and I ended up not finishing this book with only, like, about 50 pages left, because it just got too, like, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I can't swallow this anymore, and maybe that's a really realistic book, and maybe that's what makes it a really good book, and a lot of people really liked it for that reason, but for me, I was just, you know, to quote, what's his name? I keep thinking Mr. Worldwide. I don't know what his name is. The guy, Mr. Wonderful from, you know, Shark Tank. And for that reason, I'm out. Almost Life. This is a historical fiction set in Paris. And this was my March book of the month pick. So I really, really wanted to like it, especially because I spent money on it. But I ended up not finishing it at page 100 exactly. I just found the pacing to be really, really, really slow. Like, it was so slow, I couldn't get into it. Maybe that's a theme with historical fictions. I don't know. It just did not itch the scratch that I thought it was going to. The author, like, said it gave, like, Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan kind of vibes. And, like, I get that I was where we were going with that, but I didn't like the slow pacing. This is one I definitely am going to go back to. It's not one that I didn't like to the point where I'm never going to pick it up. I plan on reading it again at some point in my life, but at a point where I can enjoy a little bit more of a slow-paced book and I don't feel like I need action, plot. The last one that I didn't finish, besides Assassin's Blade, was Bog Queen, which is another, like, half historical fiction book. It's about a body found in an English bog and the mystery of how she got there. And I literally wrote DNF'd it because it's a historical fiction and I couldn't get into it. Like, and I really thought if I was going to get into a historical fiction, it was going to be that. Because it was, like, kind of witchy, murder mystery, like, weirdness. It wasn't, like, just a traditional historical fiction. I just could not. I didn't like it. So anyway, that's all the books that I read through the months of March and April. May has been an insane month. I can't wait to talk to you about it. Yeah. Anyway, if you want to further connect with me, check out the links in my description for my other social medias and my free Discord group, the Jesus Witch Church. If anybody's interested in maybe one day doing a fiction book club together, let me know in the church. All right, I'm going to go. I'm going to say hi to my kids, and then I'm going to get more into this, but I need to finish this. I think I like Crescent City better than Akatar as a series. We'll talk about it more. We'll talk about it more when I make my main video. Okay, anyway, bye.